They thought they could drag her out of first class, that they could strip away her dignity in front of hundreds of passengers watching. To them, she was powerless. Just another black woman who didn't belong. But what they didn't know was that the woman they tried to humiliate was holding the badge that could silence an entire plane and change the story forever. Get her out of the seat. The furious shout of a white passenger echoed through the cabin as a black woman sat frozen in her first-class chair, clutching her boarding pass. Flight attendants rushed over, demanding she move while passengers smirked, cameras rose, and humiliation swelled like a storm. Security was called. Her dignity was stripped in front of hundreds. But in seconds, everything would change because the woman they tried to drag out wasn't just another passenger. She carried the badge that could silence them all. The cabin of Flight 447 buzzed with the usual shuffle of boarding passengers. Luggage thumped overhead, seatbelts clicked, and muted conversations filled the air. In seat to be, a young black woman adjusted her jacket, placed her briefcase neatly by her feet, and leaned back with quiet confidence. She had paid for her ticket, in full first class direct to Washington, but her peace shattered when a sharply dressed white businessman stopped in front of her row, whose face twisting in disdain. "Excuse me," he snapped, waving his boarding pass. "That's my seat. You need to move to coach." The woman glanced at her pass, then calmly replied, "No, this is my seat. To be." The man's lip curled. "Don't play games with me. People like you don't. Sit here, stand up and let me through." Gasps rippled through nearby passengers. A flight attendant hurried over, smiling nervously. "Sir, please let me check this." She turned to the woman. "Ma'am, can I see your boarding pass?" The black woman held it up, steady hands, steady voice. "It says to be, same as his." "I was assigned this seat," but the attendant barely glanced before siding with the businessman. "There must be some mistake. You'll need to move to the back. We're on a tight schedule." Phones came up. Red recording lights glowed. Whispers spread like fire. "This is ridiculous. Unbelievable. In first class, she doesn't belong here." The woman's chest tightened, humiliation pressing down. She could feel every pair of eyes drilling into her skin, judging, mocking. Security was summoned. 2 officers boarded, looming over her. "Ma'am, please cooperate. Stand up." She shook her head, voice calm but fierce. "I paid for this seat. I am not moving." The businessman smirked, sliding his bag into the overhead. "Good luck with that." Passengers chuckled. One even muttered, "She just wants attention." The officers pressed harder. "Ma'am, don't make this difficult. We can remove you from the plane." And for a brief, chilling second, it looked as though humiliation would win. That she would be dragged down the narrow aisle like a criminal while the cameras rolled. But then everything shifted. The woman reached for her briefcase, clicked it open, and pulled out a leather wallet. With one fluid motion, she flipped it open, her voice ringing through the cabin like thunder. "Special Agent Maya Jordan, FBI, badge number 6173. The entire plane froze. The businessman's smirk evaporated. Flight attendants blinked in disbelief. Security officers stiffened, exchanging frantic glances. Maya's eyes burned as she continued, her voice sharp, cutting through the stunned silence. "This seat was purchased. Legally. You tried to strip me of it because of the color of my skin. That is not only disrespectful, it is unlawful, and now it is documented." She pointed at the glowing phones. "Every single person here just witnessed Wuth." The lead security officer stammered. "Agent Jordan, we didn't realize exactly." She cut him off. "You didn't care to realize, you rushed to humiliate me, and now every second of it is evidence." Passengers shifted uncomfortably. Some lowered their phones, ashamed. Others kept recording, knowing this was history unfolding right before their eyes. The captain arrived from the cockpit, face stern. "What's going on here?" Maya turned, her badge still raised. "Captain, I am Special Agent Jordan with the FBI. I was ordered out of my paid seat by your crew to satisfy this man's prejudice. Security nearly removed me from this plane for daring to sit in first class. Is this how your airline operates?" The captain's jaw tightened. He looked at the businessman, then at the trembling flight attendants. Finally, he faced Maya. "Agent Jordan, please, stay seated. This is your seat, and it always was." The businessman tried to protest. "You can't just butt," the captain snapped. "Sit down, or you'll be the one removed." Murmurs of approval spread through the cabin. Passengers whispered, some clapping softly, others shaking their heads at the spectacle they just witnessed. Maya adjusted her jacket and sat taller, her badge glinting under the cabin lights. "Good, because this doesn't end here. I will be filing a full report with federal oversight. This airline is now under investigation." The attendant's pad, the businessman slumped into his seat, silent. As the plane taxied, the tension remained thick. But now the power had shifted entirely. Maya wasn't the humiliated victim anymore. She was the one in control, the one with the authority to make everyone who disrespected her answer for it. By the time the wheels left the ground, the story was already racing across social media. Millions would see the footage of a black woman stripped of her dignity, only to rise and reveal her true power. And when the plane landed, the fallout was immediate. The businessman was blacklisted. The flight attendants suspended pending federal review. The airline CEO made a public apology. But for Maya, the greatest victory wasn't the punishments. It was the silence. That perfect silence in the cabin when the truth of who she was came crashing down, louder than any insult they had tried to throw at her. The silence wasn't empty. It was heavy, suffocating, alive with the weight of shame and realization. Every passenger felt it. Some lowered their eyes, unable to meet hers. Others stared wide-eyed, realizing they had just witnessed a moment far greater than a seat dispute. That silence followed them off the plane, clinging to the businessman as he rushed out. Avoiding every camera, it shadowed the attendants as they hid behind forced smiles, knowing their careers were unraveling, and it lingered with Maya, not as pain, but as proof. Proof that dignity cannot be stripped when truth is stronger than lies. She leaned back, calm and resolute, eyes fixed on the horizon. The message was clear. Never underestimate the woman you try to humiliate. She might just be the one holding your fate in her hands. If this story shook you, don't just scroll past. Stand with us. Smash that like button if you believe dignity can't be stripped away. Share this video so millions see the truth that silence tried to bury. Comment where you're watching from and tell us which moment hit your soul the hardest. And most importantly, subscribe right now because this isn't just entertainment, it's a movement. Every story we drop exposes arrogance, flips the script, and restores power. Don't just watch justice, be part of it. Never underestimate the woman you try to humiliate. She might just be the one holding your fate in her hands. If this story shook you, don't just scroll. Smash that like button if you believe dignity is untouchable. Share this video so millions more see what silence tried to bury. And hit subscribe because here, every story flips the script, exposes arrogance, and restores power. Don't just watch justice, become part of it.